All right. So the last thing I want to quiz you on, and Zoom's just given me a nice message saying that they've taken the 40 minutes off as a free gift for some random reason. So we can just grab it on.
Keep going for a few hours here.
I was expecting it to just cut off in the middle of one of those great monologues of you guys. Even with the amazing efforts of you both, the mammoth efforts of 1,000 species, we can't seem to rein in the dominance of South Africa, who have the three most species-rich projects before your projects, Coffs Harbour and Sydney. So Cape Town, Garden Route and Overstrand, they are the most diverse projects again and again and again. They're just amazing. How do they do it? Can we ever knock them off the mantle, you guys?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know about knocking them off the mantle, but it just comes down to participation. They're really well organised as a community over there, and they've got a ton of awesome botanists, and they go out as groups regularly, not just for the BioBlitz. So they know exactly what they're doing, and they've got, their top 50 users are on their project are uploading hundreds of observations. So when you compare that to Coffs Harbour, where maybe the top 10 are doing the same instead of the top 50, you can't compete. So it's about participation numbers for sure. In terms of species diversity, I reckon this area could outdo South Africa, but that's just me probably talking rubbish, but who knows? I mean, we are in a really biodiverse area here, so you just don't know. But it would be really interesting. I'd love to see what would happen if we got more people involved, and I'm sure it's the same with Thomas and Sydney.
100% agree. I think from memory, they get a lot of the scout programs online with things, and university students, and exactly as Nick said, that if you've got 10 people walking through a national park and you've got 10 sets of eyes instead of one pair of eyes, then each person is going to be spotting things that the others missed. There'll be so many times where I'm walking through a national park or an area, and I'm so focused, looking down for like little orchids or insects or something, that I'm probably totally missing all these species that are at eye level or just above, because I'm only looking down in one direction, and then you've got two people. Now you can have someone that is looking up, and then you've got three people, and you've got someone who's looking at another aspect, and just complementing. People have different strengths for spotting things as well. If I'm on the beach, I'm really good at spotting, tiny little shells from really far away and being able to spot those. But then I'm generally pretty rubbish at spotting birds. And there could be a bird sitting in a tree 5 meters away from me, and I've got someone pointing it out to me, and I'm squinting into the tree, and I can't even spot it. It takes them 10 minutes to point it out to me. So I think, just getting lots of people together that kind of complement each other's strengths, and each person, different people. Some people are fantastic at spotting birds. Others have a brilliant eye for plants, and just getting as many of those on board as you can. And something that Nick mentioned as well is having that, I guess, almost like a culture of iNaturalist outside of these events. So I think a lot of the participants from an Australian perspective are kind of just there, either just there for the BioBlitz, or they're kind of a more casual iNaturalist user outside the BioBlitzes, and then they really ramp up their efforts. Whereas if you kind of ramp up your efforts outside the BioBlitzes, then you can even take it to a new level during the BioBlitzes. And so getting that, consistent, and there are a lot of users in Australia that applies to, heaps of fantastic users. But I think kind of almost like upgrading some users to that next level of usage, and really getting them on board kind of throughout the whole year. And I think as well, getting more people aware of the kind of almost the hidden biodiversity in cities. A lot of people I think, that are doing these BioBlitzes, even though they're kind of centered around cities almost, a lot of them, as the kind of place. People are still going out into the remote national parks and places like that. Whereas I think a lot of people don't realize there's actually a great wealth of biodiversity in these kind of more urban reserves and just, down your local park and things like that. And a lot of those species are often not found in the national parks because it might be a different habitat type or, different soil or something like that. And so actually realizing that you've got a whole lot of, I think, not unappreciated, but places that haven't been really been mined yet for observations that can really bump up those numbers too. And even looking at non-native species, I think a lot of people for the BioBlitzes will really focus on the native stuff, whereas I'll tend to focus a lot on weeds with a lot of my plants and rack up hundreds of species of weeds because they're so ubiquitous that kind of people walk past them with a blind eye, I think, a lot of times. Whereas I kind of I treat every single thing I see as an opportunity for another observation. Dead fly on the windowsill, that's an observation. Walking along the street, little weed growing out of a crack in the pavement, there's another one. So you just got to kind of take them where you can, and always be ready. Always be ready to make an observation wherever you are, no matter what.
Yeah, I saw my first Muratus peacock spider the other day. Didn't have a camera on me or anywhere.
Always got to be prepared.
It's a beautifully coloured male. It was dancing. It was doing its legs up and down. I'm looking at this tiny little 5mm arachnid. Just it's stunning. But I just had to look and observe. And next
Still
time,
very cool.
Yeah. Well, I reckon we've had a good chat, you guys. So thanks so much for sharing those experiences during the GSB. And we'll look forward to doing it all again in 2022.
No worries. Thanks, Pete. Enjoyed that.
It was great to chat.